Kyle Smith, and this week I sat down for a morning meeting with San Diego firefighter paramedic Jens.Brombach. Jens exemplifies that firefighter mentality of getting the job done, regardless of how difficult it might seem. Whether it's running his real estate business or getting his CFP license, he's going to get the job done through hard work and hustle. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, hey Jens, welcome to the bullpen. Thanks for meeting me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, right on. So I think some congratulations are in order. You just had a huge life-changing event take place. You want to share with our audience what's been going on?
Yeah, just over a month ago now, my wife gave birth to our first child. So we're pretty excited about that. He's keeping us busy, and it's a new change, and it's going about as well as can be expected. He's a stud. He's sleeping about as well as he can through the night at a month old. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Oh, that's awesome. It really is. There's nothing quite like becoming a dad for the first time, or even, having more than one. It changes your life in ways that you could have never anticipated. One of the most life-changing parts of that is the lack of sleep. I guess you probably are used to that being a firefighter, but you never do quite get used to that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think getting up at night definitely affects me less than my wife. I think that's got to be something to do with just being in the station and, okay, I got to get up and do this, and I just go right back to bed, So where she gets up, changes and whatever, comes back to bed, and then she lays there for 30 minutes, you know what I mean, trying to fall back asleep. So
yeah, no, exactly. I guess that's probably a blessing and a curse, because we're probably never getting that real good deep sleep that you're supposed to get. So as soon as you hear him crying, you're probably wide awake. Whereas her, it's
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. My wife is really good about getting up, making sure that our kids are well taken care of when they're babies, and I'm super grateful for that. But God, looking back, it was such a hard time. But it's weird, in a way, I do miss it. I miss that I miss them having to sort of depend on me. Now my kids are teenagers or preteens, and they're off doing their own thing, man. And as I'm sure you've heard told many times over, it goes by in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, next thing we knew, we looked up and he was a month old, and we were like, what just happened? You know what I mean? And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. You think a month and it goes by just like that. I was off on PL for parental leave for most of it, and yeah, next thing you know, I was back to work. So it's wild.
It's crazy. I remember feeling like if I would work like a 96-hour shift or something, or I'd go out on a strike team and come home when my kids were really little like that, they would look like completely different people. They change so quickly when they're that young. It was a trip.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that as well. Like I'll come home, like I just the other day, first day back, the next day with all the man I was gone, I got tagged. So I was gone for 72, and I came back, and I was like, I don't know what it is. I'm picking up, I don't know what it is, man, but you look different. I don't know. But it's wild that can happen. So
no, exactly. For those of you listening that aren't familiar, we have a thing here called constant staffing, where if people take the day off, we have to backfill with other folks, and most of the time it's people that are signed up for overtime. But in cases where there is nobody signed up for overtime, like Jens is talking about, you'll get mandatory, which is mandatory overtime to fill those stations. In the big picture, it's great. It's great that we do have the constant staffing, but it is a burden on the workforce. It does mean in between shifts not being able to go home, and where you'd have to, instead of going 24 hours on, 24 hours off, 24 hours on, you have to pull that 72-hour shift, which is very draining on all of our folks, and it is draining on the people at home, our wives or significant others that have to pick up all the pieces at home. So it's tough on everyone, but on the backside of that means we get to provide the outstanding customer service to the people that we're all sworn to serve. So it's all good. Well, right on, man. With all that said, you ready to get in your first alarm?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, here we go. So as you do know, San Diego Fire Department, a first alarm assignment consists of 4 engines and a truck. But here at the Firehouse, I'll ask you 4 questions. You give us one piece of advice. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Well, you're gonna be first in on your first alarm, and when you're first in, you got to give a size up, and that's who you are, where you work, and how long you've been doing it.
So my name is Jens.Brombach. I work for San Diego City, as we just said. I work on Engine 9 in La Jolla on C shift, and I've been in the fire service for about 9 years now, coming up on 9 years, and six of which with San Diego City.
Awesome. For those of you listening, Station 9 in La Jolla is not only an amazing station right near the beach, right near the Pacific Ocean, it's also our EMS station, one of our EMS stations where we train all of our new paramedics and EMTs. Jens, when you were getting your medic license, I remember you coming through Station 8 here in Mission Hills,
Yes.
doing
Mm-hmm.
an internship with us. That was pretty fun. Is it kind of cool to go now full circle and be back at our EMS station training some of the new folks?
It is, yeah. I haven't been at Nines for very long. I just recently got the bid, maybe I don't know, 2 or 3 cycles ago. So I'm just in the process of getting my instructor class, ACLS, and PALS, and a few other things. Starting to FTO, but it's exciting, and it's kind of cool to see the fresh faces, so to speak, come through. And this might sound harsh, but we can sort of watch them make the mistakes that I made when we were when Aaron and I were training at eights with you there when you were an engineer, and it's good for me too because I get to get reps on stuff that you otherwise wouldn't do, and so it definitely I've definitely gotten sharper in the last just month on just like just knowledge of the protocols and all that sort of thing. So it's good for me. It's just as good for me as it is for the guys coming through, I think.
No, 100%. And that's a theme that I hear over and over talking to people here on the morning meeting. I talked to Jay Hobson recently, and he said the same thing when he was training me to go through the captain's test. It forced him to stay really sharp. And it's
Right.
the same feeling I'm getting down at training. I'm one of the lead instructors down at the Fire Academy.
Yeah.
Training all of our new people, it like forces you to stay sharp, stay up on all the things that you're required to be efficient in your job. But
Right.
it's really cool. It's very rewarding to see those fresh faces coming through, being able to help them not make the same mistakes that you made. That's a real core tenet of the fire service, is bringing up that next group of folks so that they're not doing the same thing, same bonehead mistakes that I made. I can pass it along. Hey, watch out for this, kid. You make sure
Mm-hmm.
you're, on this sort of call, make sure you're watching out for this. And the same thing relates to personal finance. Some of the dumb mistakes that I made, I'm trying to pass on to the next generation like
Yeah.
you guys coming up.
Right.
So there's all these real interesting parallels that we'll dig into here in your first alarm a little more. But
Okay.
is there somebody that stands out in your mind as an impressive teacher of yours along the path here?
In regards to the fire department, or in regards to finances?
Yeah, more in terms of like your personal finances.
Personal finances. I would say probably my boss Jeff. His name's Jeff Nunn. He's the head honcho of my brokerage here in La Jolla, and the guy's been doing this for, I want to say, close to 40 years. Working in that sort of luxury market, and he's about as knowledgeable as you can be in the real estate game, and he's passed, and not just real estate, but finances in general, and just how the whole ball works. So him, and then I've got in addition to real estate, I've already started working on getting my CFP license, and so I'm looking to expand out into almost like a whole business of both real estate and investing in the future. And some of the instructors and stuff it's all online, but still some of the instructors, I haven't met them face to face, are just passing down such good information about the state of things and where we're going, and especially now with the whole pandemic and this got unrest and all this kind of stuff, and how the face of just sort of how the face of finance is changing, I guess, so rapidly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for those who aren't familiar with being a CFP, that's a certified financial planner, which requires a whole bunch of coursework.
Yes.
It's also, you have to be a fiduciary, which means somebody that has the investor's best interest at hand. It's different than just somebody that calls themselves a financial advisor, where they can be charging you a commission, they can do all this other stuff that doesn't necessarily align with your goals. So the fact, Jens, that you're going for the CFP is really important for people to understand. I'll link here a video of a CFP that I interviewed recently on the morning meeting too, just so people really understand what that means. Now, just circling back to Jeff, what about him, other than the fact that he's been around for a long time? You're well aware there's people in the fire service that have been around for a long time that you wouldn't necessarily take information off of, or you wouldn't take advice from. Right? So maybe that's me, right? Maybe you wouldn't take information off.
It's not you, actually.
Okay,
it's not you.
All right, good. But
I can think of a few people, but not you.
Okay, good. But yeah, no, what is it about Jeff that stands out to you?
he's just a leader, man. He's got all those same qualities that us as firefighters would look up to in a guy that's been doing, you know, our job for what, 20, 30 years, that you're like, that guy, you know, he knows what he's doing, and what he says is probably a good way to go. And so he's just kind of got that leadership mentality. But yet at the same time, he's kind of a hard businessman on one end, and at the same time, he's very down to earth and easy to talk to. And you know, we're that office there in La Jolla on Prospect Street is the top selling office in the whole in all of California, and one of the top in the whole country. So he brings in what he feels is the cream of the crop. Somehow when I excuse me, when I got my license, I waited a little bit longer looking for jobs because we have our career, and I didn't necessarily need to get associated with a brokerage right that first day and get a commission check to feed myself. So I kind of held out and sort of applied to the big spots and swung for the fences. And I'm so grateful that I got in where I got in. And I think I've picked up knowledge just from being in there, sort of beyond my years in the business. And it's been really good. So
that's awesome. You know, that piece you said about Jeff being just that leader, you know, there's people that we work with that they just exude that leadership mentality, that aura. There's something about them that you want to latch onto, and when you see it, it's pretty obvious. So that's really
it is
cool.
obvious. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And I do like the fact that, you know, you were able to sort of pick and choose a little bit, because we have this steady income from the fire service. You're not dependent on your real estate commissions to feed your family.
Correct.
That's got to be a really good place to start your foundation from. You know, that's
it is.
What made you want to get into real estate in the first place?
Honestly, I would always be, so going back probably 7 or 8 years now, I've kind of had some online businesses selling. I've done Amazon selling. I've done eBay, online marketing, and some other things. And so I always kind of liked business, even though I always wanted to be a firefighter. I kind of always kind of liked business in the back of my mind. And then when my wife and I actually bought our first house, very shortly after that, I sort of transitioned my mindset from that sort of online, I still do some, but a lot less, so that online business model, to real estate. And then as I got into my first couple deals, I had a lot of people asking me, "Hey man, do you know, this was a really great transaction. Thank you so much for your help," et cetera, et cetera. And I had a lot of people asking me, "Hey, do you know a good finance guy? Do you know a good finance guy?" And I really didn't at the time. And that's what kind of sparked this. Now my next hurdle of interest, which is the CFP license. So,
God, that's incredible, man. What I'm hearing is like that hustle, that grind. You know, it's cool. It's cool to hear. It's like that the online businesses parlaying that into a real estate license, and now taking the next step into becoming a certified financial planner. It's like that's what we do, right? We are hustlers. We're grinders. We're going to figure out ways to solve problems, and that's what is coming through in hearing your story, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, you just adapt and overcome, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly, literally, right? Figure it out. Figure out what the problem is.
Right.
Let's come up with a solution. That's what our job is as firefighters, and it sounds exactly like what you guys are doing out here on your own path. The economy has been pretty up and down. The local real estate economy has been going absolutely ballistic. How is the economy affecting things for real estate in your mind?
So every Monday we have in my office, every Monday morning pretty much we have an office meeting, largely on Zoom. Now we're slowly creeping back into the office, which is good. But again, listening to Jeff and some of our in-house lenders, and we have finance guys that come in and talk about it. And so this is something that we talk about. We come in, we talk about current events, we talk about what's going on, we talk about the local economy, the national economy, sometimes even what's going on in the world, worldwide, you know. And I think with you know, all of the, as they call it, stimulus package, which is a quantitative easing or basically money printing. So you've got potential inflation coming, you've got bailouts, you've got Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, just maybe a month ago said that they were going to lock in rates, the interest rate at which banks borrow from the Fed, which eventually trickles down to lending to individuals for buying houses, is going to stay low through, I want to say 2022. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what he said. In addition to, just locally, you've got, just on this upcoming ballot, we've got, I think, 3 propositions that are going to affect the real estate market. I want to say it's 15, 19, and 21 are all going to potentially have something to do with our local economy. So, and then just coming back, because I think San Diego being such sort of a destination and one of the places that people want to live, as the economy can struggle in some places, you'll still see business and money coming into certain areas of the country, San Diego being one of them. And we're seeing lots of investors coming in. We're seeing lots of people trying to get in their first house. I've got guys all the time, especially newer guys in the job, coming to me, hey, how do I get into a house? How do I buy a house? How do I do this? And so our local real estate market is just off the chart right now. I mean, anything in the $500,000 or $600,000 range or less is going in like a couple days. You know what I mean? And we've never seen something like that, especially with money right now being so cheap to borrow. It's inexpensive to borrow right now. Like, talking to my boss Jeff, he always says the bank's gonna get their money one way or another. So when he told me when he came on in the business like 35, 40 years ago, you could buy a house for $80,000, but the interest rate when he came on was 19% on average. Jeez. And so either the prices are going to go up and the rate's going to go down, or the rate's going to go up and the price is going to come down. So right now is sort of the buyer's market for the average Joe, I guess, and people are just taking advantage, I think.
So for the new folks, so I want to just unpack a couple things. Number one,
yeah.
What would $500,000 or $600,000 buy you here in San Diego? People hearing $500,000 or $600,000 out in the Midwest or something, thinking, oh, you're going to be living large, you're going to be living in a mansion.
Mm-hmm.
What does $500,000 or $600,000 buy you here?
$500,000 or $600,000 right now. So average median home price in San Diego right now is about $638,000, somewhere right in that vicinity, and that'll buy you for the most part I don't want to say always, depending on what part of town you're in. It could buy you a nicely remodeled, maybe 3-bedroom, 2-bath, your sort of standard American dream type house with a 2-car garage and a fair yard. There are certain parts of the city where you're not going to get anywhere close to getting into that zip code for less than 1.5 million. You know what I mean? So it's for most parts of the city, that amount of cash will get you into your first home. As far as a freestanding house, condos. I helped someone just this last month that bought their first condo, and they got into a condo, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo for $369,000.
Wow.
So,
I can only imagine some firefighters out, like in the Midwest or the South or something, their heads exploding here in that number.
Yeah, right.
But
it is wild, man.
Yeah, here like $500,000 or $600,000, like up in La Jolla where your guys' offices are, that probably wouldn't even buy you a boat slip down at the local.
I don't know if you can. I don't know that you can buy any condo, even the one that needs to be gut remodeled, for $500,000 or $600,000 in La Jolla. So
now you mentioned a lot of the newer firefighters on our job have come to you, looking for advice, looking for ways of getting into the real estate market. What's one thing that they should absolutely do to make themselves competitive, to make themselves more able to get into the market?
So a lot of guys, they come to me and they ask me those questions. Like they don't even know the process. Hey, Jens, do I pay you directly? How does it work? Do you find me a house? Do you do the paperwork? How do we even go about this? And so just sort of starting that education process with a lot of new guys on the job has been really cool for me. I would say just because of the market that we're in right now and how fast it moves, the number one thing we got to do is sort of educate before we make our first step. And then we got to move into the first thing we need to do is we need to get pre-approved. So pre-approval will happen not with me, but it'll happen with a lender I work with, or they can use whatever lender they want, obviously. But I recommend the lender I work with because I know is very, very good, and I know exactly how the process works, and we can sort of speedball that up. Once we get to that point, then it's just sort of a matter of starting the hunt for houses, and a lot of guys, with the way the markets are right now with the up, down, and the interest rates, moving around and all this thing. A lot of people the other question people ask me is, hey, is this a good time to buy? Should I wait? Our house is going to go up. Are they going to go down? Is the interest rate going to go up or down? Should I refinance? And I would say for those people asking those kinds of questions, which can be a new buyer or not, and I think I've heard you say this as well, but sort of angel investing strategy is time in the market, whatever market that might be, is better than trying to time the market. So, and I think that's just take that mentality and stay flexible as things change.
Yeah, that's perfect. The piece about getting pre-approval, work with a lender that you consider them part of your team, somebody that really has your best interest in mind. I interviewed Jesse Tenenbaum on here, and he was saying the exact same thing. He said, get educated because it's not like you just said. It's not about timing the perfect time to jump in. It's about just getting in and then using that power of inflation, like we're here, the inflation in the value of your asset, or compounding interest. Just get in at some point. Don't make a stupid deal, but get educated, get your pre-approval, get your credit fixed, or if you have to, or just get it into a reasonable
level. A big one too.
Yeah. And then, at some point you're going to have to take action. It's never like that comfortable. It's never that easy.
No, it's not.
If it was, everybody would be doing it, right? But at some point you have to jump in.
Right.
That's perfect. So if people are really interested in this, why would they pick you, Jens? Why would they come to you instead of, just flipping through? Well, they don't have yellow pages anymore. And especially for you millennials, you probably don't even know what the yellow pages are. Why would they not just Google realtor in La Jolla and pick any just random Joe? Why pick you?
So the one of the things that we really stress in my office, and I just kind of stress as a person, and I think we stress at our job at the fire station as well, is accountability and trust, and we really try to take care of people. And I think unfortunately, there are, for just to give you some kind of rough numbers here, there's something in the vicinity of 36,000 realtors just in San Diego County alone, licensed people that have a real estate license. Doesn't mean they're all working or that they're all associated with brokerages, but that's how many people last I heard that have licenses. That being said, something around 95% of the deals that get done are done by 5% of those realtors. So you can see right there that the difference between some people that put their clients first and really care about finding them that property and making sure they get sort of that fiduciary requirement, make sure they get taken care of, is vastly different than the other group. I've heard people say they have sort of either have commission breath, where it's all about them and they kind of throw their client aside, or else they're just, it's, you get into people that go, oh, it's too expensive, and they just want to go with for sale by owner or something like that, which is, I do not recommend. Yes, I'm a realtor, but I know that for sale by owners generally sell for about 50% less and take about 50% longer. And if they do sell, most of the time they're only selling to someone that they know personally. So in this market in San Diego, with how fast it moves, you really need someone in your corner, and that's something that I really stress a lot, and I really try to take care of people. So,
oh, that's awesome. I think that part about, I think you said commission's breath or something. Our
yeah, commission breath.
Yeah, like our people are going to read through that immediately. We have a high BS meter, right? Because of
yes, we do,
the line of work that we're in. And so if a realtor came to us, or we came to a realtor that was only interested in closing the deal, only interested in making the commission, that's going to be like very repugnant to us. That's going to stand out immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I think also the part about, 95% of deals are all closed by the 5% of realtors. I guess it probably helps to be in that office that is doing the most amount of deals nationwide.
Yeah, like I've like I said, I feel like I've been at this for just over a year, and in that year, it's been obviously tough with the entire with everything going on, like the whole real estate market and pretty much in general in California was closed down for a period of time. It was deemed an unessential business, and then luckily it got deemed an essential business. Not only the fact with the good old real estate open house right now is non-existent. We can't do that. We've got sometimes we want to show a house, but there's a tenant in place that won't allow it, or there's all kinds of extra forms and hoops we got to jump through now to get people in to look at places. So it's just gotten it's tougher right now, and not to mention the fact that a very large percentage, I think I've heard 97% of real estate lawsuits that happen nationwide happen in Southern California, Los Angeles, Orange, and San Diego County. So this is anywhere else in the whole country is somewhere where you want someone on your side. And when we, like I say, we have a high BS meter, and when you get to find someone that you like, or that you get in there and go with it. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. I heard that 98% of all statistics are made up on the spot, Jens, but that's okay. We'll go with 97% of all lawsuits are here in Southern California.
That's straight from my, what's that?
No, I was just going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if that number was actually true. The thing about the Zoom open house, that is just so foreign to me. There's something to be said about,
it is weird,
getting into a house and really taking a look at it and really seeing the layout, and because there's only so much you can actually see. And I've done plenty of like a realtor walk through a house with their phone and just give me a video or something. That's great for like the initial thing, but at some point you're gonna have to get in there and really take a look.
Yeah, it's the Zoom open house I don't like it. It is what it is. It's the age of doing business in 2020, I suppose. And once to get someone in to actually see the house and walk on the grass in the backyard, so to speak, is now at this point a lot of extra paperwork that we have to send and sign, and then get it over to the listing agent, and so on and so forth. And it's not impossible, but it is extra hoops to jump through, and and availability is tough. Sometimes the listing agent wants to be there and make sure you're not touching anything, which makes it hard for the buyer, because when you can't see the place, or you can't walk in there and you can't open and close the doors and turn on the faucet, it makes it hard to take that leap of faith. And whether it's it's a lot of money in California, whether you're buying your first condo or it's someone buying a house for $20 million, it's a big commitment to just jump in over Zoom. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and that just highlights again why you need somebody in your corner that you can trust, right? A firefighter is somebody
Right.
that you naturally trust. It's something that we hold dear, almost above anything else, is our integrity. And so if you're listening to this and you're looking for a realtor here locally, find somebody that you can trust, somebody like Jens or other firefighter realtors that we've had on this show. I think that piece is just perfect. Now, fast forwarding, Jens, you are a type of person that grinds. You're a type of person that is going to hustle. So with that in mind, what does a successful retirement look like to you?
So this is actually something my wife and I've been talking about a lot lately, and especially with our birth of our new child, and now she's looking to change. She's a registered nurse. She's looking to change from full-time down to per diem, which is going to be great for her and great for us in general. And with me grinding away on sort of my careers outside the fire department, we would like to ultimately, we're looking at around the world. We'd like to get maybe a couple, you can buy real estate outside the United States for a lot cheaper. We'd like to maybe pick up one or two places and just sort of be sort of professional travelers. She really likes the Caribbean. I've been looking down in Ensenada lately. There's all kinds of deals down there. That's probably it. Somewhere where we can relax and just sort of travel around and watch our kid grow up. And I'm a big proponent of sort of the hard asset mentality. So picking up cash flowing properties that you can use, or some sort of cash flowing asset that you can pick up as time passes, rather than just saving it all. Not that the 401k is bad, but as opposed to saving it all away in a 401k and then just having this chunk of money that is sort of a fixed income at the end of the finish line. So
Yeah, I love that, man. And the fact that you guys are starting with the end in mind is really important. You have a vision of what you want retirement to look like. It might be picking up a place in maybe the Caribbean, one place in the Caribbean, maybe one place down in Ensenada, Mexico, maybe
Yeah.
someplace up in the mountains. Who knows? But
Yeah.
you have to have that vision, right? So that you can deconstruct it and go backwards to where you're sitting at right here, right now, where you have multiple streams of income, man. I absolutely love that. I think that is the best way, the straightest line towards success. And yeah, that's awesome. And I think it looks like with that, buddy, you got knocked down on your first alarm. Right on. So, hey, if people are looking to learn more about you, Jens, where can they find you?
So unfortunately, I think we've talked about this. Every time I get on Facebook or Instagram, like it gets hacked. I don't know what someone's getting out for me when I don't know what the deal is. So the best way to find me is 930 Prospect Street up in La Jolla here in San Diego is my office, or you can get a hold of me at I'll give you my real estate email. It's just my first name Jens period last name Brombach, and so you can probably put in the description how to spell that out, and then at camoves.com.
Right on. I'll link to all that stuff on the show notes. It's unfortunate that it does happen that you keep on getting. That's okay, man.
I don't know what it is.
Me neither. And to be honest, man, I don't want to know. But
yeah, I don't.
I really appreciate your time today, Jens. This is a lot of really awesome information. People that are interested in getting into real estate, either here locally or even nationwide, pay attention to all those pieces of advice that he gave you. Just get yourself educated, get pre-approved, get that credit score fixed or to a reasonable level, and then get somebody on your side that is in your corner, has your best interest in mind, and you'll be off and running. So, yeah, man, thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate it.
All right, thanks again to Jens for meeting me here in the bullpen. His message of finding the right people to have on your team is just right on the money. Get with people that have your best interest in mind, and then start grinding away on your path towards success. If you'd like to learn more about Jens, you can find him on his email. That's Jens.Brombach at camoves.com. That's JENS.Brombach, BROMBACH at camoves.com. If you'd like to learn more about us, we're on Facebook at The FIREhouse. That's f.i.r.ehouse. On Instagram, the _fire_house. On LinkedIn, The FIREhouse Investors, or any place you listen to podcasts. If you learned something today and you'd like to hear more, please like, share, and subscribe. But no matter what you do, take this information, go out there, and get some. Station F.